Okay, good all of you. So we did dominant epistasis. Now we go into a beautiful reverse process, something called as recessive epistasis. Excellent logic. ध्यान से सुनना होगा. In recessive epistasis, it is a type of epistasis where a recessive homozygous gene at one loci, small b, suppresses the expression of non-alleles at another locus, capital A, small a. ये उल्टा है. इसमें recessive gene small b become epistatic over capital A or capital A small a. So, who is epistatic? Recessive gene. Dominant epistasis में capital W was dominant over small y or capital Y. That was dominant epistasis. यहाँ उल्टा है. Recessive epistasis में small b recessive alleles are epistatic over dominant alleles capital A, small a. So, if you see it diagrammatically, A and B are non-alleles. They are found on different chromosomes. So, they are not alleles. And small b becomes or suppresses capital A, non-alleles, or small b suppresses capital A, small a, which are non-alleles. So, who is becoming epistatic? Recessive gene, small b, is becoming epistatic over capital A, or recessive gene small b is becoming epistatic over capital A, small a. And what is that called as recessive epistasis? ये definition जरूर याद रखना नीट एग्जाम के लिए. So नीट एग्जाम में please study all the definitions. So हमने डेफिनेशन कौन सी पढ़ी है अब तक? डोमिनेंट एपिस्टासिस में डोमिनेंट जीन एट वन लोकस सप्रेस एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ अनदर जीन एट अ डिफरेंट लोकस रिगार्डलेस ऑफ वेदर इट इज डोमिनेंट और रिसेसिव. ये डेफिनेशन डोमिनेंट एपिस्टासिस की याद रखना. दे मे आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन बेस्ड ऑन दैट. और रिसेसिव एपिस्टासिस दे मे आस्क यू which kind of expression recessive homozygous genes at one loci, small b, suppresses expression of non-alleles at another loci, capital A, small a. That is called as recessive epistasis. Try to remember definition, try to remember example, and try to remember F2 generation phenotypic ratio. बस इतना कर लेना for all kind of gene interaction. Definition, that is the logic and the concept, and the example, and your phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation. That is all you remember. So this we have understood once again. Sorry, we just got lost in the way. What is recessive epistasis? Small b becomes dominant over capital A, small b becomes dominant over capital A, small a. In other words, recessive genes become dominant over, become epistatic over dominant gene. recessive genes become epistatic over dominant genes which become hypostatic. So, here, when will capital A, small a produce its effect? When will the non-allele capital A, small a produce their effect? Only when there is a dominant allele, capital B or capital B, small b at the first locus. When will capital A, small a express? Only when instead of small b, there is capital B, so A will express, which means recessive epistasis नहीं हो पाएगा and A will be able to express itself. So we have understood that, but समझो it is small b and it is small b and it is capital A, small b will become epistatic over capital A, small a, and that means the capital is becoming hypostatic and small b recessive genes are becoming epistatic. So now, when will AA express? Only when there is capital A express, only when there is capital B or capital B, small b. So capital A will express. And the F2 generation ratio is 9:3:4. F2 generation ratio is 9:3:4. In case of dominant epistasis, we remember it was 12:3:1. In case of recessive epistasis, it is 9:3:4. ये दोनों अभी के भी याद रखेगा. We have given the summary. Now we take an example. Coat color in mice shows recessive epistasis. Coat color in mice, and coat color is formed by Ag. Coat color in mice is formed by Ag. So Ag forms coat. When the form gene pair capital A, small a occur in dominant state, it produces a gouty color. What does capital A, small a produce? A gouty color. What do you mean by a gouty color? A gouty color means there is a combination of black at the tip and base and yellow in the middle. So, coat color in mice, what will it show? Black at the tip and at the base. Tip और base पे black color होगा and बीच पे होगा yellow. बीच में होगा yellow. This is called as a gouty color. ये आपको कोई पूछेगा नहीं, जब याद रखिएगा. That is called a gouty color. When is a gouty color produced? When it is capital A, small a. So A gene is the color producing gene, and capital A, small a in dominant state produce a gouty color. In recessive state, when A gene is in the recessive state, small a, then it forms black color. Then it will form what color? Black color. So, capital A, small a form a gouty color, and small a produce black color. But capital A will produce कौन सा color? A gouty. Capital A, small a will produce कौन सा color? A gouty. But what will small a produce? Black. Now, सबसे important, a non-allelic gene pair, D genes, small b when it produces albinomides. Whether A genes are dominant, capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, or recessive, small a, ये सबसे क्रूशियल है याद रखना बेटा, that non-allelic genes, B genes, are epistatic in recessive state. Epistatic in recessive state, as we have just explained. Recessive epistasis. Recessive epistasis. Small b, small b, small b, small b will become dominant, or sorry, epistatic over capital A, over capital A, small a, or even small a. So अगर small b रहेगा तो capital A का अगाउटी कलर नहीं बनेगा, कैपिटल A स्मॉल a का अगाउटी कलर नहीं बनेगा, एंड स्मॉल a का ब्लैक कलर भी नहीं बनेगा. तो कलर कौन सा बनेगा? If you have small b, then it will show recessive epistasis become dominant over Ag. Small b will become epistatic over Ag. चाहे वो कैपिटल A हो, चाहे वो स्मॉल a हो, तो न बनेगा अगाउटी, न बनेगा ब्लैक, एंड कलर बनेगा एल्बिनो. सो कोई भी कॉम्बिनेशन ए का हो, कैपिटल ए स्मॉल ए, और स्मॉल ए, if you have small b, then what is the color? Small b will become epistatic over capital A and no albino. Small b will become epistatic over small a, so no black, again albino, and all combination with small b will produce albinoids. I hope you have understood this. If not, pause the video, rewind and see it again, and read the notes. If you have understood, continue forward. Then, what are the different coat colors in mice? Now that we've understood this, which are the coat colors? A gouty is all about capital A. Capital A होना चाहिए, and small b भी होना चाहिए. Small b होगा, they will become epistatic over capital A and agouti नहीं बनेगा. तो agouti बनाने के लिए कौन सी कंडीशन है? कैपिटल A होना चाहिए और स्मॉल b नहीं होना चाहिए. Have you understood this? कैपिटल A होना चाहिए, स्मॉल b नहीं होना चाहिए, तो बनेगा agouti. So which are the different genotypes possible for agouti? Capital A, capital B, BB, no small b. So capital A will produce agouti. Capital A, capital B, small b. Again, capital A के साथ small a है, तो agouti. Capital B है, no problem. Small b नहीं होना चाहिए, नहीं तो albino बन जाएगा. And capital A, capital B, small b, again will form capital A से agouti. कैपिटल B स्मॉल b है, एक स्मॉल b है चलेगा, एक तो कैपिटल B है यार, एक भी कैपिटल B है तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगा. इट शुड बी डबल स्मॉल b. डबल स्मॉल b रहेगा then it will become recessive epistasis. One small b से recessive epistasis नहीं होगा. So that means because of one capital B, it will still become a Gaudy. Capital A, small a, capital B will become a Gaudy. Capital A, small a, capital B, small b will become a Gaudy. I'm sorry, ये repeat है. अच्छा, तो कौन से कॉम्बिनेशन हुए? कैपिटल A, कैपिटल B, कैपिटल A, स्मॉल a, कैपिटल B, कैपिटल A, कैपिटल B, स्मॉल b, कैपिटल A, स्मॉल a, कैपिटल B, स्मॉल b. ये पॉज करके लिख लो आपके नोट्स में, लिख लो अगाउटी, ब्लैक, एल्बिनो, लिख लो अगाउटी. कैपिटल A, कैपिटल B, कैपिटल A will produce a Gaudy. यहां कैपिटल A will produce a Gaudy. यहां कैपिटल A will produce a Gaudy. यहां कैपिटल A will produce a Gaudy. नो स्मॉल b तो डबल रिसेसिव नहीं है. नो डबल रिसेसिव स्मॉल b सो रिसेसिव एपिस्टैसिस नहीं होगा and it will produce a Gaudy. Done. Who will produce black? Small a, if you remember, small a will produce black. But along with it, capital B. हाँ, ये important है. अगर small b आ गया तो, small b आ गया तो recessive epistasis and black नहीं बनेगा, वापस albino बन जाएगा. So small a produces black. जैसे कि capital A produces a Gaudy, capital A small a produces a Gaudy, but small a produces black, but only if there is capital B. अगर small b रहता था, then it would produce albino because of recessive epistasis. So what will small a, capital B produce? Black. And what will small a, capital B produce? Again black. Small a will produce black. Capital B small b है, एक small b है, but एक small b से रिसेसिव एपिस्टैसिस नहीं होता है. डबल स्मॉल b होता था तो रिसेसिव एपिस्टैसिस होता था. डबल स्मॉल b से रिसेसिव एपिस्टैसिस होता था एंड एल्बिनो बन जाता था. तो स्मॉल a, कैपिटल B एंड स्मॉल a, कैपिटल B will produce black. Please pause the video, write it down. And albino के लिए क्या जरूरी है? It should be small b. Small b होगा, then small b will show recessive epistasis over capital A, or small b will show recessive epistasis over capital A, small a, or small b will show recessive epistasis over small a, and कोई भी कंडीशन हो, small b आया कि straight away it will show albino because of recessive epistasis over AG. तो चाहे कैपिटल A हो या कैपिटल A स्मॉल a हो या स्मॉल a हो, कोई भी कॉम्बिनेशन हो, न बनेगा कैपिटल A से ब्लैक एल्बिनो, न बनेगा स्मॉल a से ब्लैक, बट small b will produce recessive epistasis and produce albino. So albinos, pause the video or first see it and then pause the video and write it down. Capital A, small b, है capital A, but no agouti. Small b से बनेगा albino. Capital A, small b, no agouti. Small b से बनेगा albino. Small a, small b, small a से no black. Because small b will produce albino due to recessive epistasis. So please remember which conditions will form albino. Any small b combination will form albino. Capital A, small b will form albino. Capital A, small b will form albino. Small b will form albino. ये जरूर याद रखना. Now, if you have understood this, please see the video ahead. समझो a pure black mouse. Black mouse कौन सा combination है? Pure black, small a, capital B. Small a, capital B is a pure black. Is crossed with a pure albino. Capital A, small b. Capital A, small b. Now, what does small a produce? Black. But capital B है, तो क्या बन जाएगा? Black. Because it is no recessive epistasis. It is not small b. Thank God. It is capital B. तो no recessive epistasis and small a है, then it will form black. अगर capital होता था, what would it form? Agouti. So what is the pure black? Small a, which is black. Capital B, which will not become recessive epistatic. And it is crossed with pure albino mouse. Capital A, small b. Capital A is supposed to form agouti, but small b produces recessive epistasis over capital A. And what will that become? Albino. So ये दोनों cross किया, pure black and pure albino. F1 hybrid will be agouti. इसमें से क्या आया? कैपिटल A and इसमें से आया स्मॉल a and इसमें से आया कैपिटल B और इसमें से आया स्मॉल b. So what is F1 generation? I'll show you again. Capital A, small b and small a, capital B. इसमें से कौन से पेरेंट से एलील्स गैमेट्स कौन से बनेंगे? कैपिटल A, स्मॉल b and small a, capital B will form small a, capital B. Why parent albino recessive epistasis due to small b? Why this parent black? Because of small a and capital B will not allow recessive epistasis. So what will that become? Black due to small a. उसमें से गैमेट कौन से बने? कैपिटल A, small a, capital B. When they come together, what will be the F1 generation? Capital A, capital B, small b. Capital A, capital B, small b. And what will that become? Hybrid agouti. Agouti because of A, capital A. And at least one capital A is present to agouti. And one capital B is present. So no recessive epistasis due to capital B. Capital B है तो recessive epistasis नहीं होगा. For recessive epistasis you need small b. So what will capital A become? agouti. What will capital B do? Not allow recessive epistasis. So albino नहीं बनेगा. And what will the F1 generation become? Hybrid agouti. Have you understood that? If yes, continue. If no, pause and rewind and see again. We continue. What will F2 generation form? F2 generation क्या बनेगा? ये मस्त है, beautiful. Capital A, small a, capital B, small b, F1 generation will now form gametes. Exactly like Mendel's dihybrid ratio. You know that. So, कौन से gametes बनेंगे? Capital A, capital B, capital A, small b, small a, capital B, small a, small b. And ये बनेंगे male, ये बनेंगे female. We have understood that. Now, let's see the combination. Sir, यहां पर है capital A, capital B, capital B, capital B. What will it form? Agouti. Agouti. Capital A will form agouti, and what is the condition? Capital B, capital B. What if it was small b, small b? It would form albino. But no, यहाँ albino का नहीं बनेगा. Talking for albino, you need what condition? We remember now very well. Small b, small b. So what will it form? Capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B. Because of capital A, it will form agouti. Because of capital B, recessive epistasis नहीं हो पाएगा, and it will form agouti. Similarly, what will capital A, capital B, small b form? A will form agouti. Capital B will not create recessive epistasis, so agouti. What will capital A, capital B again form? Agouti. What will capital A, capital B again form? Agouti. What will capital A, capital B again form? Agouti. What will capital A, capital B again form? Agouti. What will capital A, capital B again form? Agouti. So check it here. How many agoutis? Agouti के लिए क्या जरूरी था? At least one capital A and at least one capital B. At least one capital A to produce agouti color. At least one capital B to prevent recessive epistasis. And what will that color become because of capital A? Agouti. So how many we got agouti? With at least one capital A, at least one capital B, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 9 agoutis. 9 agoutis. Check this here. Check this here. Here we got small a. Hooray! Small a, black. And capital B. Again, no small b. Small b होता था तो albino. तो small b नहीं है. So no recessive epistasis. And what will small a form? Black. What will small a, capital B, small b again form? Black because of small a. What will small a, capital B, small b form? Black because of small a. So black बनाने के लिए क्या होना चाहिए? दोनों small a तो बनेगा black and at least one capital B to prevent recessive epistasis. So one capital B. Too small a, at least one capital B. Too small a, at least one capital B. What will these three become? Black. And this will become 3 black. Check this here. Here we got capital A, but small b. No capital A, no gouty. Small b will form albino. And capital A, small b will again form albino. And capital A, small b again will form albino. है कैपिटल ए, लेकिन अगाउटी नहीं बना, बिकॉज स्मॉल बी क्रिएट रिसेसिव एपिस्टासिस ओवर कैपिटल ए एंड प्रिवेंट अगाउटी. And what will small b form? Albino. And as a matter of fact, ये तो small b है. And by the way, small a से black होना चाहिए, but small b will again show recessive epistasis. So what will it still become? Albino. So small b से वापस albino. So चाहे capital A हो, चाहे small a हो, but अगर small b ho, then what will the color become? Albino. Small b causes recessive epistasis, and you got albino. So how many albinos? 4 albinos. So, once again, what does the F2 phenotypic ratio show? 9 agouti, 3 black, 4 albinos. And what will y'all remember for the NEET exam? Y'all remember the concept which I taught you in the beginning? एक बार वो पढ़ लेना concept को, logic, and you will remember coat color in mind indicates recessive epistasis. Coat color in mind is recessive epistasis, showing a phenotypic ratio of 9:3:4. Showing a phenotypic ratio of 9:3:4. Agouti 9, black 3, albino 4. Agouti 9, black 3, albino 4. ये सबसे कॉमनली पूछते हैं नीट एग्जाम में. So before I end this lecture, I will just revise 2 things for you. We'll take a break there. What will be revised? Inheritance of fruit color in Cucurbita pepo is due to dominant epistasis, which shows 12:3:1 ratio. 12 white fruit, 3 yellow fruit, 1 green fruit. Please remember this. And please remember that coat color in mice shows recessive epistasis, showing a phenotypic ratio of 9:3:4, and that is recessive epistasis. 99.99%, if they ask you in the NEET exam, they will ask you either dominant epistasis or they will ask you recessive epistasis. बाकी वीडियोस में आपको समझ में आए ना आए, ये 2 वीडियो प्लीज देख लेना and please understand it properly. Dominant epistasis, recessive epistasis, नोट से पढ़ लेना. कोई भी डाउट हो तो मुझे फोन करना, व्हाट्सएप करना, and I will explain you again. No problem at all. Feel free about that guy. Chalo, we'll take a small break and we have there a very small lecture, very small video that is called as dominant recessive epistasis. ये पढ़ लेगा. It's not very common here. पढ़ लेगा. एक बार हम लोग कर लेंगे उसे. चलो, I'll just take a break and I'll see you soon.